ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. I was thinking what to speak and what not to speak. Oh, my prejudice society. Oh, my society of discrimination. Oh, my society of violence which believes strongly. Oh, my society of patriarchy. Oh, my society of judgmental attitude. Oh, my society of constantly, structurally, you are wanting to decide one section of society's identities and sexualities. I was a male, now I am a female. People expected you to grow in certain norms, but I wanted to cross those norms because my sex and psychology was conflicting. Did not had space to speak about my sex and psychology is concerned. My parents are good, my siblings are good, my family is good, but the so-called prejudice society, be it neighbors, relatives, friends, teachers, the own system that we are part, was so conducive, was taking the liberty of dictating and decides one's identity. In the cruel of society, growing as a person who was born a male, confronting to society's so-called prejudice and said, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl. I think to claim myself as a girl, which took me almost 28 years. Today I stand before you as Akkai Padmashali and not as Jagadish. Though being brought up in Bengaluru, I belong to the state of Karnataka. I belong to the state, the whole country of India, and India is mine, Karnataka is mine. We also cannot impose the notion of westernized culture, westernized notion. Human identities, human sexualities, human feelings is part of nature. He is part of this universe. And how do we accept the differences? How do we respect the differences? How do we ensure that no person shall be discriminated on the grounds of our sex, gender, sexuality, human rights are concerned? Yes, I have also founded an organization called Vandede. It's a Kannada word for convergence, where we speak about dignity, voice, sexuality of the gender non-conforming children, transgenders and sexual minorities. When the so-called prejudice society takes the liberty of deciding people's identity, we were criminals, we were made decriminals, we were made recriminals, we were made no more criminals, and again we are made criminals again. Why? I decide my identity, I decide my voice, I decide my sexuality, I decide my food, I decide my so-called the construct of family, I decide my partner, I decide my society and I decide my nature, I decide my very existence. I think the system of majoritarian or the system of totalitarian shall not have any privilege of deciding our issues. I was a married woman. I am also a divorced woman. Today Akkai stands as a mother for Avin Akkai Padmashali, and I have adopted my child legally, socially, culturally, traditionally, questioning the notions of society. And the society said, only a biological male, biological female can go and practice the system of society. And I wanted to know what is this biologically born female, what is this biologically born male. I said, I am a woman today. To share an example of my child after divorce, when the court declared that the child custody should remain with the mother, that's Akkai Padmashali, I was so happy. And Avin Akkai Padmashali is just 7-year-old. And the child has faced enormous amount of discrimination when it's come to schooling, when it's come to certification, because people said you are a transgender woman, the system shall not apply to you. I want to question back against the system of justice and said they should also include me. Hence, Avin's mother is a single parent, that's Akkai Padmashali. Even his Aadhaar card, passport, schooling, caste and income certificates, everything was in the name of Akkai Padmashali. When the so-called prejudice society asked me to produce the details of the father, I question that, no, not at all possible, because I'm a mother. I can lead my child's life. I can take my child's life further. So many people who are, because of their various reasons and backgrounds, be it Devadasis, be it sex workers, be it the children of sexual minorities, I think one section of society is facing enormous amount of social discrimination, social exclusion, social horror, social attack against one section of society. And as you all know, my people who belong to this largest democracy's country, we cross more than 5% of this country's population. Most of us as the transgender communities are hijras, or jogapas, or joktas, or marladis, or female to male transgenders, or intersex people, or lesbians, or gays, or bisexuals, or pansexuals, or demisexuals, or asexuals. We are part of this nature. The whole world is coming together to criminalize the very existence of sexual minorities. And many countries have in the process of criminalizing our existence. This is 21st century. This is 21st century. I think in 21st century, we should definitely see a non-judgmental attitude in society. And our community is still struggling a lot to access the basic fundamental needs. Be it your public transportation, be it your education, be it your employment, be it family acceptance, be it fight against all forms of discrimination and violence is concerned. And where are my laws? Where is my family? Where is my the so-called community? When you're alive, there is no respect. After death, is there a respect? I shall say no. You still face discrimination after your death. People refuse to give the spaces for burial / cremation. So why my society is becoming so cruel? Why my society is becoming so orthodox? Why it is becoming so conducive? Why there is one amount of rejection, such an amount of reluctance towards one section of society because they are born different? Because our sexualities are something called unique and different? And we celebrate our identities, we celebrate our pride, we celebrate our proudness. I think with this process of the working class, non-English speaking section of society, who we are part of the largest democracy, I think we are the most vulnerable section. Our voices are being judged. Our existence has been judged. So how do we question back? I think I want to congratulate all of us to be in the human beings of this 21st century and celebrating our victories and prideness and proudness and making sure society should be responsible. Society in 21st century cannot be discriminated on the grounds of social, economic, cultural, traditional and various aspects of it, including the educational aspect. We should be given the equal opportunity policy. I serve as the Supreme Court Advisory Committee member to draft the equal opportunity for transgenders across my Indian country. 31 countries, talking to people, various issues. There is so much of struggle, there is so much of pain, there is so much of inhumane. How do we turn this inhumane pain towards an equal opportunity spaces? Most of us are wanting to become, to occupy the super spaces of this institution. But, big question. I think as Akkai Padmashali, my ambition was to become the Supreme Court advocate. My ambition was to become the singer. But my ambition was killed by a system of majoritarian. My ambition was killed by a system of totalitarian. My ambition was killed because of the prejudice society. And today, Akkai fights against all forms of prejudices. And I said, you are not fine, we are here. We are fine, our thoughts are fine, our thinkings are fine. So how do we make space to the marginal sections of society to listen to the voiceless communities and make sure we are here? 21st century, without sexual minorities, no society. Without sexual minorities, no economic justice. Without sexual minorities, no to the traditional / cultural practices. Without we, there is no society. Thank you so much for having me here. Namaskara.